Hey friends, we are going to try and finish out our reading of Stan Hancock's casebook on the Gypsy Rose case in the murder of Dee Dee Blanchard today. So let's get right into it. Where we last left off, we were reading Detective Mahoney's interrogation summary of her interrogation of Nick. He had just talked about him and Gypsy eating at Waffle House, and she's about to continue her summary on Nick's description of the actual murder. And again, this isn't a transcription of the interrogation. This is the interrogator's summary. Okay, she says, I again asked Nicholas if, when he got to Dee and Gypsy's home, he knew he was going to kill Dee. Nicholas responded, I pretty much at that point, I made up my mind that that's the only option at that point. So I just went right ahead for it. And I had latex gloves on, something like that. So, to try and hide my fingerprints, Nicholas explained when he arrived at Gypsy and Dee's home and Gypsy let him inside, Dee was asleep. He said Gypsy handed him 2 latex gloves, which he described as bluish green in color, turquoise. He said then Gypsy handed him the knife. Nicholas said the latex gloves were used to hide his fingerprints. I asked Nicholas if Gypsy had gloves on when she handed him the knife. Nicholas responded, her fingerprints will be on the knife. Nicholas continued by explaining Gypsy had not been wearing gloves when she handed him the knife. I'm just going to break in here and say we saw the text messages in part 1 of this when I read at the end Nicholas and Gypsy's text messages from the 24 hours on the 9th and the 10th leading up to the murder. And Gypsy texted at one point and told Nick she didn't think he needed to wear gloves because they were going to sink that knife so far no one would ever find it. So Nick responded, no, I'm wearing gloves. It's really strange to me that little Miss Planner, Gypsy, was for some reason comfortable with having her fingerprints on the knife, even when she decided to mail it to Nick's house. Now, something I want to look into after I finish this casebook is, did they test the knife for fingerprints and were they on it? Could she have, tried to bleach wipe off her fingerprints or something like that before she mailed it? I don't know the answer to that. But if she didn't, her fingerprints being on the knife seems to kind of conflict with the possibility that she planned for this to somehow be a home invasion, unless she intended to explain that away by saying the invader used a knife already in the home. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of how that could fit. You know what I mean, friends? Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Okay, I'll get back to reading the narrative. I asked Nicholas if he put the latex gloves on inside or outside the home. Nicholas explained he put the gloves on outside the home as he was walking in. Nicholas explained it was part of our plan and she's the one that thought of that part of the plan. I told her to get her butt into the bathroom because that's what she wanted to do, and I had to remind her to get to it right away because I wanted to get this over with and get out of there as soon as possible. Nicholas denied he ever went into a shed that was on the property at 2103 West Volunteer Way, and he denied ever getting into Dee's vehicle. I asked Nicholas what type of sex he and Gypsy had been having. Nicholas explained he and Gypsy have been experimenting with sex and that while the sex has been rough, Gypsy had become used to it and she enjoys it. Nicholas explained further that the sex was violent rough. Nick said that while he has never struck Gypsy in a violent way, he has bitten her and used his full force while thrusting his pee into her V. Nick said with regards to biting Gypsy, she would have marks and or bruises on her body from the biting because she had asked him to do that in a way to mark my territory. Nicholas said the first time he had bitten Gypsy, it was because she had whispered in his ear that biting was a turn on of hers. Nicholas said he has only bitten Gypsy twice, and while he could not recall the first time, he did recall the second bite was on her right arm. Nicholas explained Gypsy seemed to enjoy the second bite, even though he thought it was a very hard bite. I asked Nicholas about bruising that had been observed on Gypsy's knees and legs. Nicholas said they might have occurred while Gypsy was crawling around on the floor cleaning up blood at her and Dee's home in Springfield, Missouri. I asked Nicholas if he had asked Gypsy to clean naked, to which he stated he had and that it was a turn-on for him. Nicholas said while he did ask Gypsy to clean while naked and crawling on her hands and knees, she did find it easier because she was at eye level with the things that needed to be cleaned. I asked Nicholas if he thought it would have been a turn-on to have sex with Dee. Nicholas stated that it was not a turn-on. I explained to Nicholas that I was asking this question because at one point Gypsy had stated that he had mentioned that he wanted to grape her mother, Dee. Nicholas said, at one point I was thinking about it. I did actually mention that I was thinking about it, but then I changed my mind because I've felt bad for just the whole situation of having to kill her mom in general, so I decided to just kill her quickly. Nicholas denied ever touching Dee in any sexual manner, either prior to or following her death. I asked Nicholas how long he thought it was that he was stabbing Dee. Nicholas said maybe 5 minutes, maybe. I asked Nicholas if Dee got an opportunity to punch or hit him during the stabbing. Nicholas said Dee was trying to grab onto him, but he was able to get himself free. Nicholas explained he was not on the side of Dee while he was stabbing her, rather he was straddling Dee as she lay on her stomach in the bed, which made it a lot harder for her to resist. Nicholas said Dee did try and put up a fight. I asked Nicholas if he said anything to Dee while he was stabbing her. Nicholas said he did, and it was like a different form of myself, though the thing is that I don't know if she told you, I don't know how much she told you about me, but the me you're talking to right now is my normal good self, and that's the reason I feel the guilt I do. But the one who actually did all of this, the thing is, the good side of me refused to do it. And that's why it was the instant that it happened right away, because my evil side is what actually did it. Nick said that the evil part of him told Dee she was dead to him. Nicholas said many things were said to Dee, but he could not remember them all. He did recall saying, "Stop resisting, you know you're dead." Nicholas said he has multiple personalities. However, he has never been diagnosed with such. Nicholas said while he does not take medication now, he used to take medication for the voices he heard in his head. Nicholas said Gypsy also has an evil side that she refers to as Ruby. When talking about Gypsy's evil side, Ruby, Nicholas recalled while stabbing Dee, he told her, "Never get between me and Ruby." Nicholas went on to explain Gypsy has another personality she likes to use called Kitty, which he explained was that of a little girl. He said she also uses candy. I asked Nicholas if the good part of him, the part he kept mentioning, was what got him on a bus to travel to Springfield, Missouri to kill Dee. Nicholas said it was. However, the killing was solely the evil part of him. Nicholas said the killing of Dee was the only time his evil side has ever come out in his life. Nicholas said besides killing Dee, he has never harmed anyone else in his life. I asked Nicholas about the Facebook post that had been made from Gypsy Blanchard's Facebook page with regards to someone being harmed. Nicholas said he does not know the password for the Facebook page, and the postings were made by Gypsy. Nicholas said Gypsy has made the post prior to him having any knowledge of them, and she kind of surprised me with it. Nicholas said when Gypsy told him about the post, he thought, "What the heck?" She kind of freaked me out. Nicholas said he felt Gypsy had made the post to speed up the process. Nicholas went on to explain he felt Gypsy wanted law enforcement to get involved more quickly and to get people's attention. I asked Nicholas if he and Gypsy had anything other than the knife. Nicholas stated that they had hid money they had stolen from Dee, which Nicholas explained as being Gypsy and Dee's savings. Nicholas said he took the money from Dee's bedroom after he had killed her. He said when entering Dee's bedroom, he made a quick right. There would be a one-drawer dresser. He said the money was in the drawer of the dresser. Nicholas said the money was contained in a pouch. Nicholas said Gypsy had told him where the money was within the bedroom so he could retrieve it, as she refused to go in the bedroom where Dee was deceased. Nicholas said with regards to a safe that was located in Dee's bedroom, somehow Gypsy got out of the safe because we had a lot of money. Nicholas said he and Gypsy took thousands of dollars and they had barely used any of the money. Nicholas said they intended on saving the money as a nest egg. Nicholas said the money could be located in his bedroom within a backpack. In speaking with Nicholas about the money he and Gypsy spent, he confirmed he and Gypsy had gone to a Walmart located near his hotel room. He said the day before they were to leave Wisconsin. Nicholas said he purchased condoms, a 2-liter of 7-Up, and lip balm. Nicholas said he went into the store alone because Gypsy had friends in the store and she knew someone would recognize her. Nicholas also stated he had gone to Walmart alone on one occasion, however, he could not recall the exact date. Nicholas said when Gypsy was with him, they took a taxi to the Walmart. I'm going to break in real quick and say it's really interesting to me that Nick seems confused about how Gypsy got the cash out of that safe. He said somehow, most of the money, somehow Gypsy got out of the safe because we had a lot of money. Now, considering that Gypsy had stolen cash from Dee Dee previously and Dee Dee reported it to the police saying she thought someone random in the neighborhood did it, Dee Dee was probably checking her stash on a pretty regular basis, wouldn't y'all think? So it seems like Gypsy would have had to have done that after the murder and possibly kept the fact hidden from Nick that she went in after the murder and took money out of the safe maybe did her dryer sheet thing, etc. Because we can see from the text that I read the other day leading up to the murder in the last 24 hours, she had doubts about whether he would be able to do it. I bet she had doubts about whether he would be able to actually keep quiet and try to keep some things from his knowledge. What do y'all think, friends? Am I right or am I reaching? In speaking with Nick, okay, back to the narrative. At 01:44:42 into the interview of Nicholas Godejohn, I stepped out of the interview room to speak with Greene County Sheriff's Office Detective Stan Hancock. In review of the video footage while I was out of the room, it should be noted, Nicholas stated, "Oh, I gotta tell her that." That's the only thing I can think of inaudible. I didn't realize they were going to have a female talk to me. I didn't realize a female deputy or detective. I'm so out of it. I'm so out of it. I'm so worried about our Gypsy, though. I'm going to ask her a question maybe she can explain to me and answer too. I'm going to ask her, besides being honorable, what does the truth, where does the truth get me besides that? Because the reason I ask this is because me and Gypsy planned on lying our way through this because we didn't want to, because we didn't know how much you guys knew. If we knew how much you knew, we probably perfected it. At first, I did not know how much was known, and then until she came down. I'll wait for her though. Apparently, she's going to come back in. At 01:48:10, while looking to the right, Nicholas appears to smile briefly, then look towards the camera. Nicholas then begins talking aloud, again stating, "I don't know if I'm going to be able to see her. I really don't know." I entered back into the interview room at 01:48:42, at which time Nicholas wanted to know where telling the truth would get him besides being honorable. I explained that I could not answer that question. I asked Nicholas if he ever killed anyone else, and he responded, no, I know I haven't. I asked Nicholas if he had ever thought about killing one. Nicholas responded, well, I might have had the thoughts going in my head, but I haven't actually done it until it happened to Dee Dee. I asked Nicholas if he thought he was ever going to kill anyone else. Nicholas responded, I can't see it happening. I asked Nicholas if, after he had stabbed Dee Dee, after he had sexual intercourse with Gypsy, and they packed all of Gypsy's items, did they ever go back into Dee's room and move any of the blankets from Dee's body? Nicholas denied ever moving the blankets on Dee's body. Nicholas said neither he nor Gypsy called 911 in an attempt to get Dee help. Nicholas said the first time his mother met Gypsy was at the bus station when she picked them up at Wisconsin. He said his parents think of him as the innocent type, so they would never have suspected him to kill anyone. Nicholas said his family has never in 26 years seen him do anything evil. At the conclusion of my interview with Nicholas, I asked him if he had anything else he wished to talk about. Nicholas stated he did, then stated that the reason he lied initially about what had occurred was because he and Gypsy agreed on a lie story. And that's the reason I went with it. And then I learned she told you everything, so I just let it all out. I asked Nicholas what he and Gypsy's lie story was. Nicholas said they were going to say that he had come to Springfield by bus, got a hotel, and Gypsy began texting him while she was on the street. He said Gypsy was supposed to act like she asked for his room number so she could go straight to his room. I'm breaking in here real quick to say, yeah, it sounds like probably the whole I ran into Gypsy at the hotel was part of his quote unquote lie story. Okay, back to the narrative. I asked Nicholas if he could go back and change anything, what would he change? Nicholas said, I would have. The thing is, this is something me and Gypsy have talked about at least 100 times since we have been able to live together these days, that she has been able to be with me. I keep on going back and I keep asking her, this is the question I kept on asking her. Before I asked her I asked her, I was the one who asked her before we did this killing that happened. I was the one who actually asked her, are you sure you wanted me to do this? And then she said yes. After she said yes, the rest of the story is, But the question I kept on asking her besides that, I asked her, are you willing to risk everything, to have everything you ever wanted? And that's part of the reason why she risked her old life to have one with me. I explained to Nicholas that with all he said, he did not answer the question. I again asked what he would change, if anything, about what has happened. Nicholas responded, on how this happened? Oh gosh, well, the thing is, I would rather not kill Dee Dee, but the truth, because that's the main thing I regret the most out of the entire thing. At 2:02:45 into the interview, I again exit the interview room, at which time Sergeant Hancock entered the room to take photographs of Nicholas. Please see his supplemental photograph log reference his contact with Nicholas. After Sergeant Hancock finished photographing Nicholas and Sergeant Hancock exited the interview room, leaving Nicholas alone inside the interview room, Nicholas stated, "Just when they said detectives, it was plural. I'm freaking screwed. I'm freaking screwed. I did that for her and only her, actually for us. So yeah, it was for us. I wouldn't have did it if it wasn't for us. She knew it was the only way for us to be together. I would apologize to everyone. Everyone except for Dan. Dan is the only one I would not apologize to. Apparently she decided to go with it, like, screw it, me. I actually held together until I learned she didn't lie, and I said, screw it, I'll just tell the truth then too. I really realize how screwed I am right now." Inaudible. The thing is, if I tell the truth like I just did, yeah, it fucking sucks just having to say it. I really just want the best possible outcome to this as possible. I wonder what it is. I want to know what it is. She said she would get the best, inaudible, for me possible. The reason I said all this was because it's better to just let it all out. I honestly don't think there is anything else I can do anyway. I really don't like this situation at all. I mean, I feel horrible and I miss Gypsy. Don't get me wrong. The thing is, I thought she was going to protect me, but then she told the truth. I don't know if she did it because inaudible. I got a question for that lady. Does Gypsy even want to see me? I feel like she betrayed me. Where is that lady? She said she would be right back. She's probably crying because she realizes inaudible. Is someone really checking on Gypsy for me? Please, I got this weird feeling she is freaking crying because what she did to me. Inaudible. I know the magic words too. Pleading. I'm going to use the inaudible. See if it works. I hope she comes back in here soon. I can't believe she gave me up. I can't believe this. I better be able to see Gypsy. I just want to be able to hold her, tell her, inaudible. Because right now, you made me take the fall. You say you're sorry. You should have realized. Inaudible. Let me take the fall. It'll be lonely night after night. It doesn't. I really wish that Gypsy could say hi to me. I wish I could just hold on to her. Inaudible. To hurt as badly as I do. Inaudible. Detectives. The thing is, I already feel guilty. There is no reason to punish me for something I'm already guilty of. It makes no sense punishing them for something they already know they're guilty of, meaning inaudible. There is no need to sentence me to anything. That's a one-time thing. I'll never kill again. I waited 26 years to freaking kill one person. I hope that's the only person I ever have to kill. The DVD audio recording of my interview with Nicholas Godejohn has been logged into Greene County Sheriff's Office property as evidence. The original Greene County Miranda form has been logged into Greene County Sheriff's Office property as evidence. Then here we have the form of Nicholas signing his rights waiver. And then this is still A. Maholi. Her report says, on June 16, 2015, while in Waukesha County, Wisconsin, I assisted Waukesha County Sheriff's Department in serving a search warrant at Big Bend, Wisconsin. This is the residence of Stephanie and Charles Goldhammer, their 7-year-old son, and their 26-year-old son, Nicholas Godejohn. This is also the residence Gypsy Rose Blanchard had been located at on June 15, 2015. The purpose of the search was to locate any and all evidence, reference the travels to and from Springfield, Missouri, as well as evidence reference the homicide of Claudinia Ann Blanchard. Prior to the search, a briefing was conducted in which Greene County Sheriff's Office Detective Sergeant Stan Hancock and I briefed Waukesha County Sheriff's Department detectives on items that were of interest to us as a result of processing the crime scene in Springfield, Missouri, and an interview with Nicholas Godejohn and Gypsy Blanchard. It was agreed that the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department, acting under a search warrant issued in their county, would collect all evidence, package evidence as collected, and turn over all evidence to the Greene County Sheriff's Department at the completion of the investigation in Waukesha County. The scene was processed and evidence was collected by several Waukesha County detectives. Please see their reports for details. Reference the processing of residents located at Big Bend, Wisconsin. All evidence collected was secured by Waukesha County Sheriff's Department until June 17, 2015, at which time it was released to Sergeant Hancock and I for transport back to Springfield, Missouri. The evidence remained in transport vehicle at all times, and at no times was the evidence left unsecured. The evidence was removed from the transport vehicle on June 17, 2015, and secured at the Greene County Sheriff's Office once arriving in Springfield, Missouri. On June 16, 2015, while at the Waukesha County Sheriff's Office in Wisconsin, I interviewed Stephanie Goldhammer. Stephanie is the biological mother to Nicholas Godejohn. The following is a summation of my recorded interview with Stephanie. It is not intended as a transcript or exact text of the interview. Stephanie agreed to speak with me, and I briefed Stephanie on Nicholas's charges and some of the items collected from her home during the search warrant that was served by Waukesha County Sheriff's Department. Stephanie said Nicholas has never in his 26 years done anything violent. Stephanie said Nicholas does have Asperger's, which Stephanie explained was a version of autism. Stephanie said Nicholas did graduate from the Nathan Hale High School. However, during school, he was in classes for those with learning disabilities. Stephanie said Nicholas did not attend college, but he has taken computer courses. Stephanie said Nicholas has been diagnosed with Asperger's, and the last doctor to see him said Nicholas would always have the mind of a 15 or 16-year-old. Stephanie said because of this, she has always tried to keep a close eye on Nicholas. Stephanie said Nicholas has not seen a doctor with regards to his autism since he was 19 years old, and he does not take any medication. Stephanie did not know the doctor that diagnosed Nicholas with autism. However, she thought it could be located in his medical records. Stephanie said Nicholas was only close to one cousin, Ricky. Stephanie provided Ricky's phone number. Stephanie said Ricky has heart issues, and she did not feel he knew anything about the murder of Gypsy's mother. Stephanie said Nicholas does stay in contact with his father, Bob Godejohn, who lives in West Allis, Wisconsin. And she estimated Nicholas had visited Bob within the last couple of months prior to June 16, 2015. Stephanie provided Bob's contact number and stated Nicholas had at one point lived with his father in West Allis, Wisconsin. I explained to Stephanie that I had noticed while in her home with the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department was serving the search warrant, Nicholas' diploma read Nicholas Curry instead of Nicholas Godejohn. Stephanie explained Curry was her maiden name and that at some point Nicholas had changed his last name to his father's, which is Godejohn. Stephanie estimated Nicholas had been talking with Gypsy for a couple of years. She explained the relationship as an online relationship. Stephanie said she had tried to encourage Nicholas to date someone around where they lived. Stephanie said she did try to discourage Nicholas from his continued relationship with Gypsy because she was told by a friend Gypsy had posted on Facebook her desire to have a child with Nicholas. Stephanie said Gypsy sent Nicholas a ring in the mail. Stephanie could not describe the ring Gypsy had sent Nicholas. I want to break in here real quick again to say, isn't that a continuing pattern, y'all? She was always sending dudes stuff in the mail while she was in prison to, link and attach them to her, everything from intimate things to air fryers. Okay, back to the narrative. Stephanie said Nicholas told her Gypsy's mother was very protective of Gypsy. Stephanie said she tried explaining to Nicholas that if a parent did not want you around their kid, that was just how it was, and he should respect that. Stephanie said she was told Gypsy was 19 years old. I explained to Stephanie some of the medical issues that Gypsy was reported to have, most importantly, her inability to walk. Stephanie said Gypsy walked just fine in her presence and was able to climb steep stairs within Nicholas's home. Stephanie said Gypsy never mentioned that anything had happened to her mother. Stephanie said she often referred to Gypsy as the Beast when talking to her friends about Nicholas and Gypsy's relationship. I want to break in again and say it's funny that we saw Gypsy text Nicholas that she was, felt unsteady with her weight on her feet and that she exercised her legs in preparation to walk. That was just, in my opinion, fluff and lies to try and convince Nicholas that Dee Dee actually kept her in her wheelchair all the time. But like I said, once she got to Nick's place and had to go upstairs in order to get to his room and back down, it seems that she didn't think to even pretend that it was difficult. What do y'all think, friends? Okay, back to the narrative. Stephanie said when Nicholas told her he wanted to go to Missouri to see Gypsy, she was concerned for his well-being as he had never traveled alone. Stephanie said Nicholas had gone to Springfield, Missouri one time prior to June 9, 2015. Stephanie stated both of Nicholas's visits to Springfield, Missouri occurred in the year of 2015. Stephanie was asked if there was anything she wanted to talk about. Stephanie said she wanted everyone to know, as much as she and her family tried to get Nicholas to realize there were other people to date besides Gypsy, he would not, and he would get upset with him for saying those things. Stephanie said Nicholas had always been a good kid and she never had any problems with him. Stephanie said Nicholas never became angry and assault her. She went on to explain usually when he gets frustrated, he cries. Stephanie said she almost felt like Nicholas was safer being in jail as he would not have contact with Gypsy. Breaking in here to say, isn't that chilling, y'all? This lady was so scared of how Gypsy was manipulating him that she felt he might be safer locked up. I think most of us agree. Stephanie stated several times throughout the interview that Nicholas had never been violent. Stephanie also requested that if I was to have contact with Nicholas prior to returning to Springfield, Missouri, that I tell him she and his stepdad love him and that they would be visiting him. On the conclusion of the interview, Stephanie was escorted to the lobby of the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department by a Waukesha County Sheriff's detective. The DVD recording of my interview with Stephanie Goldhammer has been logged into the Greene County Sheriff's Office property room as evidence. This is still A. Mahoney. Interview with Ricky Godejohn, Nicholas Godejohn's cousin. On June 16, 2015, while assisting the homicide investigation referenced the death of Claudinia Ann Blanchard, and through an interview with Stephanie Goldhammer, I learned that Nicholas Godejohn's best friend was his cousin, Ricky Godejohn. Stephanie provided me with a contact number for Ricky Godejohn. I attempted to contact Ricky Godejohn several times, leaving messages each time. On June 30th, 2015, I received a phone call from Tina Godejohn, at which time she advised me she was Ricky's mother and guardian, as Ricky has severe autism. I asked Tina if she would allow for me to speak with Ricky, and she stated she would have him call me right after he got off work. On June 30th, 2015, at 15:15 hours, I received a call from Tina and Ricky Godejohn. The following information was acquired. Ricky has never met Gypsy. Nicholas has shown Ricky pictures of Gypsy. Gypsy sent Nicholas a video of herself, which Ricky believes is saved to Nicholas's hard drive. Nicholas told Ricky that Gypsy would steal lingerie from various stores so she could take pictures of herself wearing the lingerie and then send the pictures to Nicholas. Nicholas never spoke to Ricky about any plot to kill Dee Blanchard, and he never mentioned killing to Ricky after it occurred. Nothing further was gathered during the phone interview. Both Tina and Ricky were encouraged to contact the Greene County Sheriff's Office if they had anything further to add. That's interesting because I know a lot of us have wondered how Gypsy got the clothes and stuff that she did. I always suspected that she was stealing it. And whether that's correct or not, that is the story that she told Nick. And we know she did steal a lot. So there we go, friends. What do y'all think? This next part looks to be something from Facebook on the Emma Rose deal, and it's sideways, and I can't see how to turn it right. So I'm going to do a screenshot instead and edit that. Okay, it looks like those are the Facebook messages that she sent to Bobby Godejohn. I'm going to read them here. Emma Rose says, "Hello, Mr. Godejohn. My name is Gypsy Rose. I'm Nick's girlfriend. I just wanted to formally introduce myself. Smile. It's nice to meet you. You have a wonderful son. He speaks highly of you, sir. Anyways, again, it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, sir. Have a wonderful day. Smile." And then another one. "Hi, Mr. Bobby. I heard you and Nick's mom are worried about him traveling on his own. I can understand that. So if it's that big of a concern, I will be paying for everything, including hotel, eating, and gas money. If someone could drive Nick down here to Springfield, Missouri, it's a small city. The reason Nick is coming to visit me, we are going to see a movie together, Cinderella, on the 12th at 5 p.m. So we planned this trip for about 2 years because we wanted to see this movie and meet up for the first time. So I paid for a Greyhound bus ticket round trip, of course, but I can understand y'all are worried and only want Nick to stay safe." It's wild how she knew damn well what she was going to have Nick do after the movie meeting, and she was trying to get them to drive him there, y'all. Okay, this report that was added is by someone named Jay Fletcher. Remarks say 2009 CD GCSO case with Blanchards. On June 16th, 2015, I was assigned to contact Jessica Clayton, an employee of the Child Advocacy Center located at East Walnut, Springfield, Missouri. I made phone contact with Clayton. She advised she had read about the Blanchard case online, and she remembered assisting with a call involving Claudinia and Gypsy Blanchard in 2009 when she was employed with the Missouri Division of Social Services Division. Clayton recalled being asked to assist another CD investigator with a hotline they received at 2103 Volunteer Way, Springfield, Missouri, in the fall months of 2009. Clayton advised Greene County deputies responded with them to this location. Clayton reported the Missouri Child Abuse Hotline they received stated Gypsy was reported to be 17 or 18 years old, but was actually older than that. The allegations included claims of Gypsy being a victim of Munchausen by proxy at the hands of her mother, Claudinia. Clayton stated the allegations stated it was believed Claudinia was using Gypsy to get funds, and it was believed they were not actually victims of Hurricane Katrina, as they told everyone. Clayton advised Claudinia was unable to provide a social security card, birth certificate, or any medical records showing Gypsy's actual medical conditions. Clayton stated she was not the primary CD investigator on this case, but remembered the case being closed as unsubstantiated as they were unable to prove any of the allegations being made. Clayton reported she had contacted Heather Ford, who is the circuit manager for the Greene County CD office, and requested Ford attempt to locate the CD report for this incident. I contacted Ford by phone, who advised the CD report had already been purged from their system, as it was CD's policy that all unsubstantiated reports are expunged and cleared from their system after 5 years has passed. Ford asked that I submit a written request for information regarding this investigation, and she would have the archived information checked to see if any reports or information still existed that she could provide for this incident. A check of the Greene County Sheriff's Office records database showed that a report was entered on October 26, 2009 by Deputy Greene. This report listed Gypsy Blanchard as the victim, listing her date of birth as 7/27/1991. The report listed Claudine P. Blanchard as the subject. You'll notice her middle initial changes to P here, as she was Claudinia Ann before. And the reason I was pronouncing it Claudinea before is because the spelling changes to a more phonetic spelling of Claudinia back to what could be a phonetic spelling of Claudinea. And people in interviews in this report spelled it or pronounced it lots of different ways. Okay, back to the narrative. The address of occurrence in the report was listed as 2301 Volunteer Way, Springfield, Missouri. The narrative of the report read as follows. On 10/26/09, I was dispatched to 2103 Volunteer Way, a location in Greene County, Missouri, to meet with DFS and speak with an individual in regards to a child at that location. I arrived on scene and made contact with DFS caseworkers Jessica Clayton and Marlena Sorensen. Sorensen informed me that there is a child identified as Gypsy Rose Blanchard residing at the address with her mother, Claudine Blanchard. DFS advised that Claudine claims her daughter is paralyzed from the waist down, has multiple sclerosis, not scoliosis, multiple sclerosis, cancer, and other medical issues. According to the DFS hotline call, St. John's Hospital contacted DFS and informed them that a doctor has checked on Gypsy and her alleged medical issues that Claudine claims Gypsy has. According to DFS and the hotline call, a doctor could not find any symptoms that would support what Claudine alleges is wrong with her doctor. According to the hotline, Claudine provided different personal information on Gypsy. Due to the inconsistent birth dates and lack of medical diagnosis, DFS wanted Gypsy checked on to ensure she was not an endangered runaway or missing juvenile. They also wanted to ensure that Claudine was the biological mother to Gypsy. DFS and I first made contact with Claudine and Gypsy and spoke to them about the situation. Claudine stated they are from Louisiana and left there during Hurricane Katrina and came to the Springfield, Missouri area. When confronted about all the inconsistent information that she had provided to the hospital, Claudine stated she didn't know why the birth dates and personal information were wrong. After further investigation, it was found that Claudine had a bad marriage and got a divorce. Due to her fear of her ex-husband, Claudine had changed her daughter's information at the hospital so that her ex-husband would not be able to find them. Claudine and Gypsy were checked through Mules and NCIC with negative results. Claudine was positively identified by her Missouri driver's license, and Gypsy was positively identified by a social security card provided to me by her mother. It was further determined that Gypsy was 18 years of age and does suffer from some type of mental handicap. While on site, it was apparent that Gypsy is being attended to reference her personal and physical needs. I'm going to break in here real quick to say this. We got this police report in a FOIA that Into the Weeds did a while back and had read this report. And we've all been wondering what exactly was the way that Gypsy acted that caused the investigators to determine that she had some type of mental handicap. Back to the narrative. DFS and I cleared the scene without further incident. This report is for intelligence purposes only. Following the written request for information I submitted to Heather Ford with CD, I received an email from her on July 10th, 2015. The email stated the archive records had been checked and no information had been located regarding the 2009 CD case involving Gypsy and Claudinia Blanchard. And then they've got a copy of that report. Like I said, I've already went over that from the previous FOIA. And here they have a copy of Gypsy Rose's 1991 birth certificate. That would be the real one. Then this says case supplemental report, not supervisor. Case status cleared by arrest, offense, cyber tip, case management status cleared by arrest adult occurred 1/20/2014. Investigator Charles Root, date time 1/4/2016. Here's the narrative. On January 4th, 2016, at approximately 10:42 hours, I conducted a proffer with James Krippen at the federal courthouse, Springfield, Missouri. Mr. Krippen's attorney was present as well as AUSA Abe McGull. The proffer concluded at approximately 11:28 hours. A brief non-verbatim synopsis of the interview is below. I began the interview by asking Krippen what he wished to discuss. He stated he had information regarding a couple of different people. I asked him to talk about each of them separately, and he agreed. Krippen provided information regarding 5 separate individuals, which are detailed in separate supplements to protect the integrity of the different investigations. Krippen first began speaking about Nicholas Godejohn. He advised that Godejohn is a podmate of his, and they attended rec time together in the rec yard at the Greene County Jail. Krippen stated Godejohn began talking about his girlfriend, identified only as Gypsy. Krippen reportedly told Godejohn that he, Godejohn, and Gypsy must really care about each other. He said Godejohn began confiding in him, Krippen, sometime around Thanksgiving. In total, Krippen believed they had 3 or 4 conversations about the murder. He said the last conversation they had regarding this incident was approximately 2 weeks ago. Godejohn said he met Gypsy on the internet, but he did not know how or where on the internet they met. He said at some point the two decided to meet. Godejohn reportedly told Krippen the decision was made for Godejohn to travel to the Springfield, Missouri area, where he would kill Gypsy's mother so that Gypsy could leave the area with him, Godejohn. Krippen said Godejohn told him the initial plan after killing Gypsy's mother was for Godejohn and Gypsy to travel to Louisiana to stay with family. Krippen believed Gypsy has family in the area, but Krippen wasn't positive. Krippen did not know when Godejohn arrived to Springfield area or exactly where Godejohn was from. He also did not know how soon after arriving the murder occurred. Krippen said Godejohn began talking about what it was like to kill Gypsy's mother. Godejohn said it made him feel good as he was stabbing her and he would do it again if needed for Gypsy. Godejohn told Krippen Gypsy's mother kept fighting him as he was repeatedly stabbing her, and he repeatedly kept telling her to stop fighting. Krippen wasn't positive of the exact words Godejohn used, but it was something like, "Death is calling to you, stop fighting." Now that's interesting that that's the first I've heard of a plan for them to go to Louisiana afterwards, but I don't know how a cellmate of Nick's would know anything about Gypsy's family in Louisiana without Nick knowing and telling him. What do y'all think, friends? Okay, back to the narrative. Krippen said the two would talk while walking laps together in the rec yard. I asked why they stopped talking. Mr. Krippen said it was because Mr. Godejohn was transferred into solitary confinement for writing on the walls of the rec yard. Godejohn was reportedly trying to write messages to Gypsy, who also uses the rec yard. I asked Krippen what the purpose of providing this information was. He said it was to hopefully use it to help in his legal situation. I asked if he had anything else to add regarding Mr. Godejohn. He said not that he could think of. After completing the interview, I searched CaseNet for Godejohn in Greene County. I found one case filed for a Nicholas P. Godejohn with a date of birth in 1989. The case was filed on June 9th, 2015, with a count of murder of the first degree and 1 count of armed criminal action. The court case number was identified as 1531-CR03590-01. Nothing further. Detective Root. Now we're back to Stan Hancock writing in his own narrative here. It says, interview with William Osborne. On June 14th, 2015, I was assigned to make contact with William Osborne. I made phone contact with William, who stated he would like to meet with me at the McDonald's located at 3320 East Battlefield Road, Springfield, Missouri. William told me he was a member of a Star Wars club called MCIS, and Gypsy was a member of the Star Wars 501st Club. William told me he knew Gypsy and he wanted to talk to me in person. I made personal contact with William at McDonald's at the address mentioned previously. William stated he was concerned about Gypsy's well-being and if her wheelchair was at her residence when he feared something horrible had happened to her. William said he had contacted several of the MCIS on 501st Club members, and none of the members knew the whereabouts of Gypsy, and they were all concerned for her well-being. William was unable to give any other pertinent information about the whereabouts of Gypsy, and he told me he wanted to help in any way he could. I gave William a business card with my phone number and to call me if he discovered any other information. Isn't that strange, y'all? It seems like that dude kind of just wanted to insert himself because he had met them before. Or was he worried and trying to fish for information? What do y'all think, friends? Okay, still by Sergeant Hancock here, and the remarks say, opening of the KVD knife from its original packaging from Wisconsin, report. After returning from Waukesha County Sheriff's Office, I placed the original evidence packaging of the KVD knife into another cardboard box and sealed it with evidence tape and tagged it into property. Detective Sergeant Jim Stanley was tasked with opening up the KVD knife from the original evidence packaging from Waukesha County Sheriff's Office to take photographs of the KVD knife. Detective Stanley retrieved the cardboard box which contained the KVD knife from the Greene County Sheriff's Office property room. While in Greene County Sheriff's Office evidence packaging room, Detective Stanley put down fresh butcher block paper and put gloves on. Then he opened the cardboard box. After opening the cardboard box with the Greene County Sheriff's Office evidence tape on it, Detective Stanley pulled the original evidence packaging from Waukesha County Sheriff's Office and opened it. Detective Stanley pulled out from the Waukesha County Sheriff's Office evidence paper bag a United States Postal Service envelope. The top left corner of the manila envelope showed a handwritten sender's information as Blanchard, 2103 West Volunteer Way, Springfield, Missouri, 65803, with the destination handwritten to Nick Godejohn, Big Bend, Wisconsin, and the address. A white in color United States Postal Service label was displayed on the front right side of the envelope. The information observed on the label displayed the following: origin, 65804, 5 ounce, June 11, 2015. A price of $2.94 was indicated on the label below line, U.S. postage paid. The label indicated the package was count U.S. first class mail. The label indicated a U.S. Postal Service tracking number as the tracking number. Detective Stanley pulled out the United States Postal Service envelope, another envelope which contained a red and black handled KVD brand knife with a black and color sheath on the blade of the knife, and 2 blue and color latex gloves. The KVD knife and the 2 blue latex gloves both had dried blood on them. Detective Stanley photographed the KVD knife with the 2 blue latex gloves without a scale, then with the scale. After the photographs were taken, they uploaded to the server. Detective Stanley repackaged the evidence and logged it back into Greene County Sheriff's Office property room. Y'all, I probably already knew this, but I had forgotten. She mailed the freaking gloves with a knife, y'all. So we know that she texted Nick hours before the murder and said, there's no need to wear gloves because we're going to sink that knife. And Nick was like, no, I'm wearing gloves. Well, then not only did she not sink the knife, she mailed it to his house addressed to him, and she mailed the gloves that he used with it. You know, the trash they used to clean up got picked up, from what I understand, before it was able to be processed into evidence. They put it in the trash barrel and wheeled it out to the road, and it was already picked up. So those gloves she could have easily disposed of before, but she chose to make sure that without Nick's fingerprints on the knife, that the evidence was still there. What do y'all think, friends? Did y'all already know that? I probably did, but I'd forgot. Okay, this is still written by Stan Hancock. We got another report. The remarks say, video from Gypsy's cell phone videoing herself to Nicholas. Report narrative says, I was notified by Springfield Police Department computer forensic analyst Michael Costello in reference to audio video footage he located involving Gypsy Blanchard. The audio video is 15 minutes long. The following is a summation of the recorded audio video of Gypsy Blanchard. It is not intended as a transcript or exact text of the recording. In this audio video, Gypsy appears in what looks like a black and colored jacket with a red wig, addressing it to Nicholas from Gypsy, calling him sir. She states, hi sir, this is Ruby, and I'm making this video as an introduction video. Gypsy admits Ruby is the most evil side of her. Gypsy stated in this audio video she likes to get into trouble, and she is not sorry when she gets caught. Gypsy stated her caring is broken, and she was not scared of law enforcement, but she would be scared of Nicholas's evil side. Gypsy stated she would do anything with Nicholas to include murder, rape, and assault. Gypsy tells Nicholas if at any time a girl tried to become his girlfriend, she would kill them with pleasure, and there would be lots of gore and blood. Gypsy stated if a girl was trying to get with Nicholas for sex, she might allow it. But if a girl tried to get with him as a girlfriend, she would kill her and they could kill her together. Gypsy goes on to say how if it were family members murdered, she would not be so brutal and she would have to take a step back and let him handle it. Gypsy stated she would allow Nicholas to grape her anytime he wanted, but not physically assault her, but she was okay with rough sex and grape sex. Gypsy talked about the romantic side of Ruby and how Ruby was not touchy-feely. However, Kitty, Candy, and Bella were the romantic sides of her. Gypsy stated in this audio video that she was very good at stealing and talked about how they could steal bigger things together. Gypsy talked about how she was very good at planning things. Gypsy said she liked to cause mischief and mayhem, but Nicholas would have to put her in charge of all the planning. Gypsy stated she comes up with very, very bad ideas and then referred to her bad ideas as robbery, rape, vandalism, and stealing vehicles. The remainder of the video, Gypsy talked about her and Nicholas bonding when they could finally be together. Other than the above-mentioned statements, there was nothing else of evidentiary value in the audio-video footage. A copy of the DVD was attached to this report and was logged into evidence. It should be noted the DVD will only play using a Dropbox account. So we've all seen that video of Gypsy being Ruby, I believe, but I didn't know that she said, or I'd forgotten again. There's so much information to this case that I swear it just crowds out of space in my brain sometimes, y'all. But she said she was very good at planning things, and she has to be in charge of all the planning. Y'all remember recently when she said she is a prep person? She has got to plan things. I think that was in her Lifetime show. Again, the patterns are strong, y'all. And then we go to a report by M. Staker. It says crime scene diagram. On June 14, 2015, I responded to 2103 West Volunteer Way, Springfield, Missouri, reference to missing persons with suspicious circumstances. I was assigned to be crime scene supervisor as well as do the crime scene diagram. I had been contacted by Captain Kenny Weatherford, who advised that 2 subjects were missing from the location. Information had been obtained from Facebook that one of the missing persons may have been stabbed and the other raped. Captain Weatherford stated the youngest missing person was Gypsy Blanchard, who was in a wheelchair. However, the wheelchair was still at the location. Captain Weatherford advised me that patrol units on the scene and a subject had entered the residence through a side window and no one was in the residence. Captain Weatherford advised Sergeant Jim Stanley would be assigned to the crime scene lead, and Sergeant Dennis Rice would be assigned as crime scene photographer, and Corporal Brad Wallace was to assist in the search for evidence. When I arrived at the scene, I observed the residence in question was a pink in color residence on the north side of Volunteer Way. The residence had a wheelchair ramp on the south side and a white picket-style railing. There was a concrete driveway on the east side of the residence, which led back to a small blue in color shed. Parked on the south side of the shed was a purple in color Nissan Cube bearing Missouri license CV72H. The vehicle was facing the north next to the trash cans. The resident had the numerics 2103 and black numbers on the west side facing the south. There was a yellow crime scene tape around the residence. On the north side of the residence was a wooden area with residents north side of it. On the east side of the residence, below a small window, was a large storage container. The information that was obtained was that the civilian that entered the residence entered through this window. Due to rain moving into the area, we began a search of the exterior of the residence. Sergeant Stanley, Sergeant Rice, and I began a grid search outside of the residence. The search had to be called off twice due to lightning strikes in the area. The evidence on the outside of the residence was marked with numbered placards and then photographed and collected. The search warrant was signed by Judge Michael Codnier, and a copy was brought to the crime scene for the deputies to review. At 0018 hours on June 15, 2015, Sergeant Stanley and I entered the residence for an initial observation. Sergeant Stanley had obtained a key to the residence, so forced entry would not be needed. Sergeant Stanley and I attempted to make entry through the front door, however, the key would not unlock the door. However, we then proceeded to the side door on the east side of the residence. The key allowed us to unlock the door. However, as Sergeant Stanley attempted to open the door, he was met with resistance. Sergeant Stanley was able to push the door open to see a plastic shelving unit was placed in front of the door with kitchen materials on it. Once inside the residence, we searched briefly for any evidence. As we walked down the hallway to the north, Sergeant Stanley went into a bedroom on the west side of the residence, and I went into a bedroom on the east side. As I entered the bedroom, I observed a light was on in the closet to the northwest corner of the residence. This illuminated the bedroom just enough that I was able to see a person lying on the bed. I observed what appeared to be a female lying on her stomach with what appeared to be blood on her back. I could see that the female was wearing a white in color shirt with some type of design on the clothing. The female was partially covered by a pink in color blanket, which was covering just above the waist in the lower portion of the body. The sheet also appeared to have blood on it. Sergeant Stanley checked for a pulse and could not locate one. At this point, we exited the residence and made contact with Captain Weatherford and advised him of the situation. The remaining time I was on the scene, I was a supervisor, reviewed photographs, and conducted a diagram of the scene using the Sokia total station. Attached is the diagram of the scene along with the measurements. The following are measurements inside the incident location. The disto instrument was utilized. I might be pronouncing that wrong, y'all. The instrument name. These items were documented at the request of the crime scene lead investigator, Sergeant Stanley. The individual evidence location measurements were collected. The following are approximate locations and not exact locations. The item locations are representations for the purpose of diagramming the scene based on information provided by Sergeant Stanley. Number 8, plastic spray bottles in the hallway, 14.55 feet from the north wall, 2.35 feet from the west wall. Number 9, black ball cap in the hallway, 12.53 feet from the north wall, 1.49 feet from the west wall. Numbers 10, 11, and 12 were swabs taken from the laptop computer. Number 13, laptop computer leaning against the side of the bed in the master bedroom, 4.53 feet from south wall, 8.18 feet from west wall. Number 14, Barney stuffed animal was originally located on the bed partially under the victim's head, however, was moved and placed on the nightstand when the victim was examined. I didn't realize it was partially underneath her head, y'all. Wow. Number 15, flowered pillow laying on the bottom of corner of the bed, 7.29 feet from south wall, 2.31 feet from floor, 6.86 feet from east wall. Number 16, pink in color sheet at the foot of the bed with possible blood on it. Number 17, white in color blanket on the bottom left corner of the bed, 7.29 feet from the south wall, 2.31 feet from the floor, 6.86 feet from the east wall. Number 18, pink in color blankets lying on the floor at the foot of the bed, 7.29 feet from south wall, 6.86 feet from east wall. Number 19, blue in color blanket lying on the floor at the left side of the foot of the bed. This would be 7.29 feet from the south wall, 6.88 feet from the east wall. Number 20, white pillow with flower design laying at the head of the bed on the right side. No measurement was taken of this item as it was against the headboard, which was against the south wall. Number 21, white pillow with possible blood on it located at the head of the bed, partially on the left side of the bed. A measurement was not taken of this pillow. Number 22, strands of fabric that had been tied in a knot. This was laying next to item number 21. Number 23, a white sheet was laying on top of the bed. Measurements were not taken of this sheet as it spread across the bed. Number 24, pink fitted sheet on bed in the master bedroom. No measurement was taken of this item as it spread across the bed. Number 28, white nightgown with flowers located on the east side of the bed on the floor, 3.53 feet from south wall, 9.14 feet from west wall. I was scanning through these trying to see which ones are relevant instead of reading out all of them. And this one just struck me because y'all, didn't we see in Gypsy's text to Nick that she was going to have on a white nightgown with flowers? Does this tell us that when she changed out of that white nightgown with flowers into whatever she was going to wear to leave the house with Nick, that she did it in Dee Dee's bedroom? It sounds like it to me. I need to look at the crime scene pictures again. So I'm sure that Gypsy defenders would immediately try to say, oh, well, she did that before the murder. However, it would seem to me that it would be logical to think that she wouldn't want to risk going in there to possibly wake Dee Dee up before the murder because she was waiting for her to go to sleep, supposedly, if we're assuming that she didn't already do something to her in those 12 hours. So again, going with what a Gypsy defender would say, that she did it before the murder, she changed in there before the murder, I really doubt that. I can't see how she would have wanted to risk waking Dee Dee up. It just seems to me like that would have had to been done after. What do y'all think, friends? Am I right or am I reaching there? Then it's 29 is a bath towel, 30 is a white pillow, 31 possible blood swab located on the plastic bag north of master bed, 4.72 from wall, 6.92 from west wall. Number 32, possible blood swab located on the red binder north of the master bed on the floor, 7.9 feet from north wall. Number 33, swab of possible blood on master door frame, 1.60 feet from floor. Number 34, plastic spray bottle located in the southwest corner of the master bedroom on top of the projector. Number 35, wet wipe located inside plastic cup in the trash can on east side of the bedroom. 36, blue plastic cup located in the trash can next to the master bed. Number 37, Pepsi bottle located in the trash can in the master bedroom. Number 38, wet wipes located in the trash can in the master bedroom. Number 46, possible blood swab of the exterior upper door of the bathroom. Number 47, possible blood swab on the sink located in the bathroom. Number 48, swab of light switch located on the east wall in the bathroom. Number 19, roll of paper towels with possible blood located on top of the counter in the bathroom. This is interesting. Do y'all remember, did Nick even talk about going in the bathroom? I'm kind of blanking out on that at the moment. I'll have to go back and look after I'm done recording and editing. Number 55, possible blood swab located on exterior door frame of storage room. Number 56, possible blood swab located on upper portion of exterior door frame of storage room. Number 57, bottle of cleaner in the bathroom against the bathtub. Number 58, Walmart bag used as liner for trash can in the bathroom, located against the corner in the bathroom between the tub and the toilet. Number 59, possible blood swab located in the west hallway. Number 60, possible blood swab located in the lower west hallway. 61, possible blood swab located in the exterior door frame of the south spare bedroom. Number 65, Lysol can located in the southwest corner of the master bedroom. 71, vacuum sweeper located in north wall of dining room. Number 72, plastic spray bottle of possible cleaner located on north wall of dining room. Number 75, ring located on the dining room floor. Number 78, possible blood swab located on kitchen floor tile, 10.31 feet from north wall, 4.57 feet from east wall. Number 79, possible blood swab located in the kitchen floor tile, 3.93 feet from east wall, 10.02 feet from south wall. Number 80, possible blood swab located on the grout between the tile on the kitchen floor. 81, possible blood swab located on the grout between the tile and the kitchen floor. 82, possible blood swab located on the cookie bag on the kitchen counter. 83, possible blood swab located on the bag of flour on the kitchen counter. 84, possible blood swab located on the west door of the pantry above the kitchen stove. 85, possible blood swab located on the upper kitchen cabinet above the blender on the east wall of the kitchen. I'm really curious how blood would get so high up on the cabinets and stuff in the kitchen. I could see it dripping on the floor from the knife. Like, did the knife get slung around, or are there other explanations? The rest of those go through a lot of different types of cleaners, and then it says there was a cardboard box for an HP notebook. It says 95 and 94. 94, they found plastic tub of miscellaneous paperwork located on the floor north of the bed in the master bedroom. And 95 is a red binder located on the floor north of the bed in the master bedroom. Probably Dee Dee's records. Those would be interesting, I'm sure. Number 103, possible body fluid sample located on twin bed mattress in Gypsy's bedroom. 104, possible body fluid sample located on twin bed mattress in Gypsy's bedroom. 106, bus fare card for Gypsy located on the top drawer in Gypsy's bedroom. A bus fare card for Gypsy in Gypsy's bedroom would have been local, I think, using the local Springfield city bus, because they didn't buy her a Greyhound ticket to travel with Nick until after they were already at the Days Inn Hotel. So Gypsy was getting around, y'all. 108 and 109, as says, 2 more binders of paperwork found in the spare room. 125, 2 VHS tapes located in storage room along the north center wall. And then it gives a breakdown on how they do the diagram. Notice there 108 and 109 is photo albums and personal documents. So Gypsy definitely did not remove every trace of herself from that house. She took specific pictures and told Nick she wanted no trace of herself. I think she knew that Nick wouldn't think about it too deeply. And then it goes through the officer's diagram. And then we get to another report. It says investigating officer Stan Hancock, D-Lab DNA certified report. Missouri State Highway Patrol Crime Laboratory Division, and ASCLD Lab Accredited Laboratory. It says items 1.1, swabs of where red part of handle meets black part of handle. Analysis results of a DNA profile was developed and is characteristic of being a mixture of the 3 individuals. Claudinia Blanchard, Gypsy Blanchard, and Nicholas Godejohn cannot be eliminated as contributors to the mixture. The observed mixture profile is 59.88 quadrillion times in the Caucasian population and is 6.12 times in the Black population, more likely occurred under the scenario that it originated from a mixture of DNA from Claudina Blanchard, Gypsy Blanchard, and Nicholas Godejohn, as opposed to the scenario that the mixture originated from a mixture of DNA from 3 unknown, unrelated individuals. These statistics are based on 9 of 13 possible loci. Item 14.1, swab from sink analysis result. A DNA profile was developed and its characteristics of being a mixture of 3 individuals, Claudina Blanchard, Gypsy Blanchard, and Nicholas Godejohn, cannot be eliminated as contributors. The DNA profiles were developed using the polymerase chain reaction, PCR, at Promega's Powerplex 16 genetic loci. If I'm pronouncing any of those words wrong, please forgive me, y'all. And that, friends, is the end of that report. So I have a lot of questions from this report, and I've made a list of them in notes as I went on. I'll do another video where we just talk about all the questions that this report brought up. So let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll go out with palate cleanser. Have a good day, y'all.